Welcome back, guys. And I got a chance to see an early screening of Project Hail Mary. And I'm here to tell you that that online hype that you've been hearing is 100% real. So today's review is going to be completely spoiler free. If you haven't read Andy Weir's book yet, or if you've been trying to avoid trailers or other spoilers, I'm here to tell you you are safe here. I'm going to drop my official score for the movie at the end of this video. And the only spoiler that I have for you is you need to go buy your tickets for this because I don't think you should miss it. So here's the spoiler free setup. Ryan Gosling plays Rylan Grace, who's a middle school science teacher who wakes up on an intergalactic spaceship. And he wakes up millions of miles away from Earth, and the catch here is he has amnesia. He doesn't know how he got there, he doesn't know where he is, he doesn't even know his own name. And as his memory slowly pieces itself back together, and we get that through flashbacks, he realizes that he's on a desperate one-way mission to save humanity from an extinction level event, and he's basically all alone. And that is basically the setup for the movie. Ryan Gosling, I will say, played his role brilliantly. He has that signature charm that everybody credits him for, and he anchors the entire film with so much genuine vulnerability. And also, the movie is pretty funny. I found myself chuckling a lot in this film because there are some witty moments that honestly are just very, very funny. And I found myself laughing out loud a few times, and I chuckled to myself another few times. And I just really enjoyed this film as a whole. And I credit him so much for this role because this was a very isolating role. He did a lot of this movie by himself mostly. He carries all of the emotional weight. He carries all of the drama. Anything that happens in this movie really rests on his shoulders alone. And for that, I give him all the credit in the world because similar to I Am Legend, where there's basically one person and a companion, and the real person is the person doing all of the work, so to say, he does a magnificent job carrying this film. I also have to shout out Sandra Hüller, I believe her name is. She plays Eva in this movie, and she is not the villain in any type of way, but she's that antagonistic type of role who is pulling all the strings from the background. She's basically in control of everything on Earth. She's ruthless. She's also pretty caring at the same time, but she has to be when the fate of humanity is on the line. And the job that she did adding weight to certain scenes with Ryan, it really did a good job establishing the emotional weight of this film, and that helps carry throughout the film as this honestly is an emotional journey. It's not just this sci-fi action. Well, it's not action at all. It's not this sci-fi thriller where there's going to be a lot going on. It's actually very slow paced in my opinion. That's probably the only thing that I detract from the movie. The pacing for me was a little slow, but it didn't bother me at all because everything about this movie, every detail, the way it was shot, it looks magnificent. It is beautiful. This is a great film to look at. The sound is great, and I'm not a sound guy in any type of way, but I know good sound, and this was very good sound. And the dynamic that Grace has with Eva in this story, it is some of the best on-screen chemistry that I have seen in any movie in a while, not just a sci-fi movie. In a sci-fi movie, this is probably the best chemistry I've seen in years, but this was some really, really good on-screen chemistry that they displayed. Now let's talk about Lord and Miller and how they took a book that is packed with math and sci-fi physics and all that stuff like that, and they translated it so everybody could understand. Because this is very much a science fiction film with hard math and stuff like that, and they do write some things out, but every conclusion that he comes up with in this film, speaking of Grace, is understandable. We don't have to try to figure out these hard math problems or these scientific theories or anything like that. Everything is laid out for us so that we understand. And obviously, it's complex for the character in the film and it shows him thinking and stuff like that. But for us as an audience is very easily understandable. And that makes for me a very watchable experience because I don't have to do a lot of thinking. I can just sit back and enjoy the film. There were moments in this film where I actually felt myself kind of clenching my butt cheeks to the seat because the terror of space creates its own horror type element in a sense because there are scenes where he leans over and you're in space, so there's nothing there under you. And then some of the sequences in the movie where he's outside of the ship, they're just really gripping. And everything about this movie is great. And I'm not trying to toot anybody's horn or praise this movie for no reason. And I know I don't give a lot of praise to a lot of movies, but if I really enjoy something, I really enjoy something, and I really enjoyed this. Cinematographer Greig Fraser could completely knock the visuals out of the park. This was a beautiful movie to watch. Every scene has a crisp, clear images and just it was just great to watch. This is a great movie to watch. Like I said, please see it in IMAX. I know there are going to be other ways to see it, but if you can, I know it's a little bit extra on the pocket. Please try to see this movie in IMAX or whatever big screen you can see it on, because this is the only way that this film should be viewed. So, like I said, my grade for this movie is a 9 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 5 stars, depending on how you want to look at it or what scale you're looking at. The only thing I took from this movie, the only point I took away was the pacing. Like I said, for me, it was a little slow, but that may not bother some. And it really didn't bother me because the movie, while it's a little slow, it moves pretty well. But maybe that's me nitpicking or whatever the case may be. But this movie was really, really good. And I'm going to do a deep dive and talk about it further this weekend after everybody's had a chance to see it. I don't want to spoil it now. But we're going to talk more about this film because I think we can unpack a lot, and this was a really good movie. I see why everybody was saying that this was going to be probably one of the movies of the year, if not the movie of the year. Now, I understand we haven't gotten a lot of great movies in 2026 so far, so it's easy to say that this is the best movie of the year so far because it is, but I could see this movie holding up against time this year and probably being the movie of the year. I don't know if it will because it has some stiff competition coming up this summer and at the end of the year. I think that this film has a chance to be movie of the year. This will definitely be in most people, if not everybody's top 10 films of the year. I can't see it being any lower than 10, and I doubt it'll be that low. It'll probably be in most people's top 5 list. Right now, it's probably my number 1 for the year. So that's probably not saying a lot right now in March, but I think this will hold up against time as the year goes on. But like I said, go see this movie on the biggest screen possible. I saw it in IMAX. I had a special screening or whatnot. I really enjoyed it. If you have any questions about it, I don't know what to tell you. I've never read the book either, so I'm interested to read the book to see, I guess, what was left out. But what I've heard is that the parts that were left out, I guess, not that it doesn't matter towards the story, but I guess the way the story was crafted, you don't really feel it. I don't know. Never read the book, not yet at least, but I think this is a good film. So I think all the book lovers will probably love it. Some of the people that I've heard that have read the book love the movie. So I think everybody's going to love this movie. So if you get an opportunity to, go check it out. And with that being said, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I appreciate you all for coming. And tune back in later on for my deep dive video into Project Hail Mary. And we will definitely be talking more about it then. And I will see you next time. Thank you for coming, and bye.